Pyrography. I am going to burn sketch this wildflower on a 12-inch round piece of wood, and it's a freehand sketch. Always safety first, especially when you're using something as hot as this. These little nibs really heat up, and you want to be careful to keep a big distance between that nib and any human parts. Using safety and heat-protected gloves can be a good part of this practice. I have my 12-inch round wood on a cake decorating and moving platter so that I can gently move it as needed. To begin with, I find that the center of this circle is perfect for the center point of my freehand sketch. I love wildflowers, grew up in the mountains of Colorado, and drying them, or in this case, burning them, is really so fun for me. If you've seen any other of my sketches, you'll see that my real technique is I want to get a feel for the form and shape and the composition to my frame. And in this case, the frame is this big slice of wood. So I'm gently just starting to feel out my leaves and also my stem. Now I'm going to take this and literally go off the edge so that my frame really doesn't completely capture my form. And in this case, these leaves on the side, just gonna let the base of them come off. I don't contain the whole image within that 12 inches. And balancing off that composition, I go to the left of the stem and bring in that leaf. See how my shape starts to come out. When I place my hot nib onto the wood and I really want to get a darker line, you can see that it's burning. And it's important that when you select your wood, you get a wood that is untreated and also safe for burning. Wearing a mask or respirator during this time can also be helpful. Like my sketches, my favorite part of my sketches is that I have varied intensity of the darkness of the lines that I create. So on my flower petals, I have some gentle lines and some delicate lines. I don't like to connect all of them because I like when my eye jumps around to the shape and sees some suggestions of the line, and I can see clearly where a light or a shade or a movement comes through as well. Building that big blossoming flower above my wildflower subject, I also want to be conscious of the weight of the lower portion with my leaves to the right and to the left of the stem to make sure that this composition is well balanced. Transitioning into the darker shading, and of course you can't undo this, you can't erase it, so making good choices about what you're going to put your pressure into is always more of a thoughtful process, taking your time to see. For me personally, I really want to start to create that center part, and also underneath where we have the joining the portion just below it, which is delicate and has these very pretty little leaves off of it to connect to the stem. The stalk of my flower is really the portion that supports the image, but that center part of my flower with the lightness that naturally comes from the center of the rings is my real focus here. And developing those petals to give a little introduction more to that stem and connecting it. Again, using my pyrography tool and those nibs to gently sketch and also put pressure to give a more defined line. Again, taking it off the edge so my story continues. Same thing when I do my paintings. I love when it runs off the edge and continues that story. As you can see, using that cake decorating platform really helps because I can move it when I want instead of just moving my pyrography tool. Making that leaf off of my stem curve toward the flower really cradles that central focus of this composition, and want to do a gentle type of cradle also to the left. Burn some nice little edges so that it introduces that wildflower above. All of my sketches, I jump around to my points in my composition. Now my focus is to really give some more solid definition in the body of this flower and start to give some of the shading where the leaves and the petals come to meet the center. And I'm going to play with some hatch marks. Those hatch marks follow the direction of the leaves or the petals. And seeing how I'm going to like the depth here. Give some of the same feeling I did as below my central focus. And also with these hatch marks, it also gives more direction of where these petals are leaning. So playing with hatch mark shading. I have another nib that's semi-circled. I can burn and drag it, but for this purpose, I like this sketch feeling, and I want to leave it like this. I may go and paint it later, which I'll make another video. But for right now, I'm just doing my sketching. Do want a darker line. You can see the smoke coming up from the burn, momentary smoke. And you can see that it's really starting to take more defined shape. My flower. In this portion I definitely want dark. The center portion's a little bit light, but they support this entire formation, this flower, and I definitely want it pronounced. flower definitely feels far more defined than before, and I take my time to really see which portions I want in a darker form or just that light little sketch. Again, like my other illustrations, I don't like to fully make edges, especially where they connect, because I like the lightness and I like the natural patterns that a light source would create. Leaving those hatch marks continues to be at the base of these petals. Now I would like to also give some definition over to the leaves off of my stem. They are light in contrast to the darker portions of my flower, so I want to balance that as well. I jump around from flower to stem to leaves. And some dark here, pressing and allowing that hot nib to sink into the wood, touching it up on both sides. And the sketch is looking pretty good to me. I like the way that it feels like a pencil drawing, but we just burned some beautiful wood. Yes, I'm satisfied. Let's take a closer look. You can see the shading with the hatch marks and burn marks, the gentle little lines that I initiated this sketch with. Some of them I completed with a heavier line, others I did not. Thanks so much for joining me today, and as always, I am wishing you happy pyrography illustration creations. Have a great day.